Hi, everyone, and welcome back. You're here for the deep dive because, well, you want to get to the heart of things, right? Really understand a topic without getting totally bogged down.
Exactly. We get it.
So today we're tackling something really fascinating. Hunyuan Qigong.
Mm-hmm. And our main guide for this is the book Hunyuan Qigong by Feng Zhiqiang.
Specifically, the first edition in English, translated by Chen Zonghua. Even the cover, that peaceful scene and the calligraphy, it kind of hints at the depth we're going into.
It really does. And our mission, so to speak, is to unpack the core ideas, the practices of Hunyuan Qigong as they're laid out in this specific book.
Yeah, highlighting what makes it unique, what insights it might offer someone who's maybe curious about Qigong or internal energy work.
And it's useful, I think, to frame this by mentioning Feng Zhiqiang himself.
Oh, definitely. He was a major figure, wasn't he? A contemporary Tai Chi grandmaster.
A highly respected one.
Yeah.
And his lineage is in Chen-style Shini Hunyuan Taijiquan.
Which is the direct foundation for Hunyuan Qigong. That context is key.
Absolutely crucial. It's the bedrock.
Okay, so Hunyuan Qigong. Let's dive straight into the core principles. What are the big ideas we need to get our heads around first?
Well, right at the heart of it, Hunyuan Qigong is about cultivating and promoting your internal qi, your life energy, basically, and also jing.
Qing, that translates as essence.
Yes, essence. And the book points out something interesting here. Jing is sometimes viewed as, well, directly synonymous with semen.
Really? As the source of energy?
As a primary source of energy within the body, yes. And this isn't just biological. In Hunyuan Qigong, managing this jing, preserving and transforming it, is seen as vital for, well, vitality.
For longevity, for the quality of the qi you produce.
Exactly. It's a core concept, and it might feel a bit different from, other energy practices people might know.
That's a very tangible link.
Yeah.
So, okay, cultivate qi and jing. What's next?
That brings us to Hunyuan Qi itself. The book describes this as the original qi, the undifferentiated stuff.
Undifferentiated, like before it becomes specific.
Sort of like pure potential, yeah. Before it takes on particular qualities or functions in the body. The goal is almost to return to that primal state of balance, tapping into that original source.
Returning to that.
Whoa.
Wow. Okay, that sounds profound. How do we actually, work with this qi? How do we guide it?
Ah, that's where yi comes in. Mind intent.
Yi, mind intent.
Yes. And the book stresses that this is absolutely critical. Your focused intention, your yi, leads the qi.
So the mind leads the energy, not the other way around.
Precisely. You don't just try to force qi with physical movement alone. That, the book suggests, can lead to stagnation or imbalance. It's subtle, but really important.
Mental clarity directing the energy flow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is it purely internal then? Or is there movement involved?
Oh, there's definitely movement. It involves both internal cultivation and external movement. But there's a clear priority.
Which is?
Internal. You focus on training the qi, the jing, the internal state first. Then that internal development naturally expresses itself through the external movements.
Right. So the movements aren't just choreography. They're a result of the inner work.
They manifest what's happening inside. You cultivate internal mastery, and it shows outwardly.
Okay. And the last core principle mentioned is this integration of health and martial applications. How do they connect?
Well, they're seen as deeply interconnected. It's not like you practice one set for health and another completely different set for self-defense.
They arise from the same source.
Exactly. The fundamental principles, the cultivation of strong internal qi, the focused mind intent, these things are vital for health and vitality, right?
Yeah.
And they also form the basis for internal power, or En, just used in the martial side of Hunyuan Taijiquan.
So developing one naturally supports the other. Two sides of the same coin.
You could say that, yeah. Emerging from the same core practices.
Okay, that gives us a really good grounding in the core philosophy. Now, the book breaks down the key components. Let's start with Gongfa. What's that about?
Gongfa. Think of this as the foundation methods, the bedrock of Hunyuan Taijiquan training, according to the book.
The fundamental exercises.
Right. Their main goal is to nurture and promote your internal qi, your internal jing, and also what's called internal gong.
Gong meaning skill, mastery.
Essentially, yes. Skill or mastery developed through dedicated, consistent practice. These are the practices that build that deep internal strength.
The building blocks. And the book makes a really strong point about this, doesn't it? Something about practicing Quan without Gong.
Oh, absolutely. It's quite stark. The quote is, "He who practices Quan without Gong will be doomed to be void of substance till his last breath."
Wow. Okay, so no shortcuts. The internal foundation is non-negotiable.
That's the message. Very clearly. You can't have the effective martial art or even the full health benefits without cultivating this internal power first.
A clear warning. All right, so Gongfa is the internal base. What about Quanfa then?
Quanfa is described as the martial art aspect, the boxing, if you will.
But still linked to the internal.
Absolutely central. Even within Quanfa, the internal training is key. It involves what the book calls the three treasures. Essence relating back to Jingqi and spirit, or Shen.
Essence, chi, and spirit, and methods too.
And three methods, yes. Body, hand, and footwork, all guided by these internal principles. When we talk about spirit, or Shen, here, think mental clarity, focus, the sort of orchestrating presence in a martial situation.
So even the fighting techniques loop back to those core energies and the mind. How does Yi, the mind intent, play into Quanfa specifically?
Just like in the general principles, it's paramount. The idea is that your chi goes where your mind intent directs it.
Oh.
It's not just about muscles, it's about focused intention, leading the internal energy to manifest in the specific martial movements needed.
That sounds like it requires intense focus. Are there specific routines in Quanfa?
Yes, the book mentions 9 core forms within Hunyuan Taijiquan Quanfa.
9 core forms, so sequences practitioners learn to embody these principles.
Exactly. Practicing those routines helps cultivate both the energy and the martial skill together.
Okay, moving to the next component, push hands. I've heard this term in other Taiji contexts. What's its specific job here in Hunyuan Qigong?
Push hands is considered a really vital training method. The book highlights 4 main functions. First, developing Tingjin.
Tingjin, listening energy.
Literally, yes. Listening energy or sensing your partner's force and intention through physical contact. It's about becoming highly sensitive to their energy.
Not just physical pressure, but their internal state.
Exactly. Feeling their energy through the interaction. It's quite subtle.
Okay, so developing sensitivity. What else does push hands do?
Second, it's great for self-correction. Working with a partner helps you feel imbalances or weaknesses in your own posture or structure that you might miss otherwise.
Ah, like a mirror.
In a way, yes. Third, it really enhances your understanding and embodiment of core Taiji principles. Things like yielding, sticking, neutralizing force. They become much more tangible.
Makes them real, not just theoretical.
Right. And finally, it's crucial for improving your understanding and, importantly, your application of Jin.
That internal power we talked about for martial arts.
Exactly. Push hands is where you really learn to feel and apply it effectively.
So it's much more than just trying to shove someone. It's a sophisticated learning tool for energy, balance, force.
Very much so.
Are there different types of push hands practice?
Yes, the book mentions both single hand and double hand patterns.
Any examples?
It gives a couple. Dan Shou Ping Shu Ping, which is single hand horizontal circle, and Si Zheng Shou Ping Jin for cardinal ping.
Specific patterns to train specific aspects, I imagine?
Presumably, yes. Each designed to cultivate certain aspects of Ting Jin and Jin application through interaction.
Okay, that covers Gongfa, Quanfa, push hands. The book also mentions weaponry. Is that a primary focus?
It's presented more as a supplementary part of Hunyuan Taijiquan. Important, yes, but maybe not the central training for everyone.
Why is it important then?
Well, it deepens the understanding of Gongfa, the foundational methods, and also the practical application of Jin. Learning to handle a weapon effectively gives you a different perspective on body mechanics, how energy flows, how you extend your internal power beyond your limbs.
I see. What kinds of weapons are typical?
The book specifically names 3 main ones: the broadsword, the staff, and the sword.
Broadsword, staff, sword. Each teaching something different, I suppose.
Most likely, yes. Different challenges, different ways to apply the principles.
Let's look at the broadsword a bit closer. What makes the Hunyuan style distinct?
It's described as being quite different from other broadsword forms. There's a really strong emphasis on internal force generation.
So not just arm strength.
Definitely not. The movements involve a lot of spiraling, twisting, and they're dynamic. Fast and strong actions combined. It's about projecting internal energy through the blade.
Sounds like it demands serious internal coordination. There was a vivid metaphor for it, too.
There was, yes. It's sometimes called Taiji reeling broadsword.
Yeah.
And it's compared to a hot iron coming out of the furnace.
Wow, that really paints a picture of intensity and power.
It does. And interestingly, the book notes that the broadsword form is usually learned after the sword form.
That's an interesting progression detail. Okay, what about the sword form itself, the Hunyuan Taiji sword form? Key features.
It's made up of 13 distinct sequences, traditionally called Shi San Shi.
13 sequences.
And these sequences weave together the 8 fundamental energies of Taijiquan and use 5 different stepping methods. It's quite intricate.
8 energies, 5 stepping methods. Sounds complex. How does the sword move? Is it aggressive?
The principle is that the sword is guided by the body's movement, the whole body. And there's actually an emphasis on gentleness as a tactic.
Gentleness with a sword.
In the sense that it's not about brute force with the arm. The sword follows the body's integrated action. The strategy often involves finesse, yielding, not just hacking.
Guided by the body, gentle tactics. Does the book give any posture names?
It gives a few examples, yeah, like Kishi, the beginning form. Lanzai Yi, which means the immortal points the way. And Yima Fenzong, wild horse parts its mane, which usually implies a sort of spreading or separating kind of movement. The names often give a clue to the feeling or action.
Right. Poetic hints. Okay, we've covered the main components. Now there's a specific form mentioned, the 37 form Hunyuan. What's special about this one?
Well, the book says it's relatively easy to learn initially. That makes it accessible, for people starting out.
No entry point.
But the key thing is, while it's easy to pick up the basics, it allows for really deep, ongoing understanding as you practice more.
So simple surface, hidden depths.
Exactly. It reveals more complexity the more developed your internal sensitivity becomes. It's a form you can grow with over time.
What does it specifically help develop?
It's highlighted as being particularly good for enhancing the connection between your yi, your mind intent, and the subtle inner movements of qi within the body.
Strengthening that mind-energy link we talked about.
Precisely. It acts as a powerful bridge, helping to integrate mind and body on that deeper energetic level.
Very valuable. Okay, next concept. Hunyuan returning to one. That sounds significant. What is it?
It's described as a specific, focused exercise. The aim is to train and condense the Hunyuan Qi, that original undifferentiated Qi we started with, into, the book uses the metaphor of one grain or one pellet.
Condensing the qi into a single point, metaphorically.
Yes, that's the imagery. Concentrating and refining the energy.
How is it actually done? What's the movement?
The physical part involves a continuous back and forth motion with the hands, performed in front of the Dantian.
The energy center in the lower abdomen.
That's the one. And this hand movement is done with a very specific mental focus.
The mind intent again. What's the focus here?
The key is to consciously focus your spirit, your shen, and your mind intent, your yi, right in the Dantian.
Directing the focus internally to that center.
Exactly. That focused concentration is what's believed to gather, refine, and condense the Hunyuan Qi there.
How long should one practice this?
The book suggests at least 15 minutes daily, especially if you're doing the complete form training as well. So it's seen as a regular, important part of the overall practice.
And the ultimate goal of doing this, returning to one.
Its main function is to actively promote and strengthen the resonance of that Hunyuan state within you.
Deepening the connection to that original key state.
Yes. By consistently focusing the energy in the Dantian this way, you're cultivating that unified state. It's a direct method for embodying that core principle.
That really brings it full circle. Okay, the book also talks about opening and closing movements. Seems fundamental. Why the emphasis here?
Well, they're credited with a whole range of benefits. Increasing internal strength, gently massaging internal organs, harmonizing yin and yang energies, opening the meridians, the energy pathways, and improving qi flow to muscles and bones. It's quite comprehensive.
That's a big list. How should they be done to get these effects?
The crucial thing is, again, mind intent leads the movement. And there's a strong focus on doing them with tranquility.
So not big, forceful movements.
No, gentle, intentional actions guided by inner awareness, slow and natural.
And there's a principle linked to this, movement and stillness.
Yes, exactly. The book states, movement and tranquility supplement each other. Dongjing Hubu.
Dongjing Hubu.
It captures that essential balance between activity and stillness that's so key in Qigong for getting the full benefits.
That balance makes a lot of sense. Now, we've talked a lot about mind intent yi, but let's just zero in on its role again. Where should the focus primarily be during practice?
The book specifically highlights 2 key spots. The Lagong point.
Center of the palm.
Center of the palm, yes.
Yeah.
And the Dantian, that lower abdominal center. These are seen as crucial points for directing and gathering qi with your yi.
And the relationship between yi and movement, just to recap.
Foundational principle. Mind intent precedes movement. Your intention initiates and guides the physical action.
Internal direction leads external form.
Perfectly put. It's not just moving physically, it's moving with conscious, directed intent.
Are there other tips for maintaining this yi during practice?
Yes, the book advises cultivating and maintaining focus and stillness of the mind intent throughout the whole practice session.
Mental clarity and presence are essential.
Absolutely. For guiding ki effectively and for deepening that internal awareness over time.
Okay, lastly, the book offers some general key points for practice, sort of overall reminders. What are some big ones?
Well, one is always doing those opening and closing movements slowly, naturally, led by the mind intent. We touched on that.
Right.
Another key idea is the body becoming a unified whole during practice.
Unified whole, meaning
It means integrating everything, your physical structure, your mind intent, your eyes or gaze, your spirit, Shen, and the Hunyuan Qi itself, all working together as one unit.
wow, that's truly holistic, engaging everything. What else?
It stresses the Dantian as the center, the place where movement should originate, like the engine driving the actions.
The core initiator.
Yes. And a final, fundamental reminder. Breathe naturally. Don't force the breath. Don't strain.
Just let it be natural.
Natural, relaxed breathing is essential for qi to flow properly and freely.
This has been, well, incredibly illuminating. A real deep dive into Hunyuan Qigong through Feng Zhiqiang's book. It's so clear it's way more than just physical exercises.
Oh, absolutely. It's a comprehensive system, really. Cultivating internal energy, developing focus, integrating mind and body.
Yeah, we've seen that emphasis on internal T, the absolutely critical role of mind intent, and how all the parts, Gamfa, Kwampa, push hands, are interconnected.
Mm-hmm. The book definitely provides a solid foundation for understanding the concepts for anyone interested in this approach.
It really does. And, it leaves me with a final thought for everyone listening.
Oh.
Just consider how this core idea, mind intent leading Qi, how that might apply beyond Qigong practice.
Interesting question.
Like in other parts of life, how could consciously setting your intention, bringing that focused mind to what you're doing, how could that affect your concentration, maybe even your energy levels, how you tackle daily tasks or goals?
Applying the principle more broadly.
Yeah. Maybe this dive has sparked some curiosity to explore Feng Zhiqiang's work further, or even try out Qigong. It really seems like in so many ways the journey starts with intention, doesn't it?